Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video, this time for the Japanese Tier 5 Premium Cruiser, the Yahagi. As always, these videos are designed to give you a sample of the gameplay of the ship, not to be an exhaustive analysis. I recommend the Wargaming Wiki or other content creators. So, one of the things that's interesting about World of Warships, people sometimes say to me, geez, there's 800 ships in the game, how many different ships can there be? How different could they actually be? And in general, my answer is, well, most of them are fairly different, but it certainly is true that there's some that are really, really close. And I'm not talking about the times when Wargaming implements different versions of the exact same ship, like the Fujin and the Kamikaze. I mean, like, this Yahagi, I just happen to have just played the Agano. And I want to say again, for those that might be new to this, I am choosing these ships almost completely at random. I do exercise a little editorial control, but basically I have a randomizer that tells me what ship to play next. And so the fact that the Agano and the Yahagi came up within a day of each other is a total coincidence, but it's interesting to play them back to back because they're just so incredibly similar. I mean, yes, there's little pluses and minuses here and there. The Yahagi has a slightly slower reload. It has, I believe, a slightly higher range. It's slightly more maneuverable. It has a speed boost instead of submarine surveillance, but the speed boost is only an 8% speed boost, so it's a little faster, but I mean, really, especially if you handed these two ships to someone who was relatively new or unskilled at the game, it would be tough to spot the differences. And I mean, that's true because in real life, the Yahagi was an Agano class cruiser and they were very similar to each other. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if you like the Agano, you're probably going to like the Yahagi. I'm not really sure why you would buy this ship, except in as much as premium ships in World of Warships have a couple advantages. They get slightly better credit and XP earning potential, I think. But one of the more important things is you can switch commanders around on them for free, which means if you have premium commanders like Yamamoto, you can use him for free on this ship. You can just transfer him onto this ship. As long as you're fine with using the same build on every ship, then it's free to do that, whereas it's not free if it's a tech tree ship. So yeah, I mean, this particular game, I'm just gonna HE spam the crap out of a bunch of bots and one player. Gonna get some pretty good damage numbers. Gonna take almost no damage. I'm gonna launch the torpedoes a couple times but not hit anything, but really the story here is that it's just all about HE spamming. I think the guns here are all right. I commented in a previous video about how much I dislike Tier 5 cruisers, and I think that story still holds. I mean, this game is going to look good because it's a down tier, Tier 4 and 5, against mostly bots. But in the other game where I played the Agano, I believe I got up tiered and I had a few more players and it was really rough. And the one player I'm going to get here, I mean, bless his heart, he's just going to sail completely broadside to me at fairly close range, and I'm going to dump a bunch of AP into him. And that's about it for that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would go out of your way to buy the Yahagi unless you happen to find it of historical curiosity. I do not remember how I ended up with the Yahagi, but I'm willing to bet that it was in a crate or some other vehicle like that where I didn't directly buy the Yahagi, but she came in a crate or other random loot box of some sort. I try not to buy too many loot boxes, but I'm guilty from time to time, so that's probably how I ended up with this. If you have a Yahagi, then there's certainly no harm in using it. It's better than the Agano in that one way that it's a premium, so you can use your premium commander, which I find to be a pretty strong asset. You'll see here I'm aiming at the bow of this battleship because the bot's moving very predictable ways, and the dispersion is good enough that I'm hoping I can just hit his bow because I can't pen his the main body of his ship. I usually go for superstructures, but in some cases, if I'm close enough, and especially a bot moves very predictably, I'm hoping I can hit his bow, which I did. I'm already up to 45k. Some of that's fires. Pretty good fire starting chance on both the Agano and the Yahagi. But, I mean, basically I'm performing well in this game because I'm playing against bots. Just sailed into my flank, spent some time behind an island farming over it, then moved out once I felt like it was safe to do so, and we won our flank, avoided pushing spawn. I mean, it's not exactly rocket science, right, at these tiers. Playing well is just a matter of understanding the rules. So I switched to AP for this, what do we got here, Marblehead, and he did a good job of angling to me, and I was like, oh, okay, this guy must know what he's doing, and then he turned completely broadside to me. Yeah, don't do this. This is, yes, it's true that I'm just a tier 5 cruiser, but I mean, I still have AP, and I'm still gonna wreck this guy. Now, of course, I'm pretty broadside to him too, and I could have gotten also, could have taken a pretty good amount of damage. I will admit that at this point in the game, I was playing a little bit sloppy, and also I wanted to slow down and turn in because I had a feeling he was launching torpedoes, which he did. At these tiers, especially with bots, less so with players, but especially with bots, it's all about torpedoes because the bots are extremely bad at shooting their guns, but for some reason, actually pretty good at using their torpedoes. The only times I've ever seen people lose a co-op game, for example, is because they just get torped. You can essentially ignore the guns on most bots, most of the time. At least in co-op, and to some extent in random. It's a little bit different in asymmetrics. I think Wargaming does have bots that aim better, and they use them in some game modes, like I believe in asymmetrics. But in co-ops and also in low-tier randoms, they just aim really poorly. I'm going to farm a good bit of damage on this Hermes. This game is basically over. So yeah, the Yahagi, the story of the Yahagi is basically, it's an Agano, it's just a premium version. It has a little differences here and there, tweaks around the edges, but 96% it's the same boat. So if you like the Agano and you like tier 5 cruisers, or if you happen to pick this one up and you just want to give it a shot, then go for it. Otherwise, yeah, it's certainly not a ship I would go out of my way to buy. But then that's true of 85 to 90% of the low tier premiums. It just usually doesn't make a lot of sense to buy a premium because in today's game, below tier 6, especially below tier 5, but even tier 5 itself, you're going to play against a lot of bots most times of the day, at least on the North American server, which is a shame because low tier can be fun. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about the Yahagi. Certainly not a bad ship if you like tier 5 cruisers, but pretty much an Agano. And I will see you. Oh, that's a 2 badge. Interesting. Wow, yeah, 1280. The one advantage of tier 5 is your games qualify for most of the missions, combat missions. Anyway, that's all I have today. See you in the next one.